warm welcome. We are looking at Verbal Ability Class Assignment 2. Now in Verbal Ability Class Assignment 2, you've got an entire component on parallelism. Now please remember, parallelism is one of the best methods to solve common error questions. Why? Because you are able to identify errors without learning grammatical rules. So you might have seen in Verbal Ability Part 1 that we learned many rules related to subject verb agreement. So here when we talk about parallelism, there's no need to remember a lot of rules. You can actually learn these simple basic principles and try following the concepts which we discuss, and most of the times you'll be able to crack most of your questions. Okay, so around say 60% of your questions based on common errors can actually be comfortably solved by using the law of parallelism. Now what are parallelism? See, when we talk about parallel lines are lines which are simultaneously going together. So the word is simultaneous, simultaneously, right? That means they're going together. They're actually going in the same direction, they are having the same objective, they are running parallelly simultaneously, right? So similarly, when I talk about a sentence in English, the structure, the form, the tense must remain the same at all points in time. For example, if I say that Neerja is liking, or for example, if I say that Neerja usually prefers drinking, eating, and to ride. So here you can see drinking, eating, these are having ing forms, but to ride is something which is different, right? So I need to make to ride also get converted into an ing form. Okay, I will give you an example that will make things more clearer, but please remember that parallelism is an important topic. So what is a parallel? What do we mean by parallelism? See, you need to remember the basic premise. The basic idea is that the tense must remain the same throughout. The tense must remain the same throughout. That is parallelism. Okay, so do remember this. This becomes important, that the tense must remain the same throughout. Okay, that is parallelism. Like I said, over 60% of your questions can actually be easily solved by using parallelism, because it's a very logical way. All right, now we'll be looking at some questions, and then of course we will take up the questions that are a part of your VA2 assignment. Okay, now see, for this, let's just take a look at this question. Neerja likes hiking, swimming, and to ride a bicycle. Now can you see Neerja likes hiking, swimming, and to ride a bicycle? Now here, hiking is an ing form, swimming is an ing form. So there's a faulty parallelism, because to ride a bicycle, that is not an ing form. So Neerja likes hiking, swimming, and riding a bicycle. So the ing form is not consistent. The ing form, I repeat, is not consistent. Therefore, the correct answer becomes Neerja likes hiking, swimming, and riding a bicycle, right? So this is what we mean by parallelism. Everything must be in the same form. Everything must be in the same form. That is essential, that's necessary, that is important, right? So do remember, this becomes extremely crucial and imperative. Now, let's just take a look at this question. It was both a long journey and very tiring. Now, can you see that very tiring? It's actually not making any sense. It was both a long, so both, that means what was both? We are describing the journey, and what was the journey like? It was long and tiring. So it was both a long and very tiring journey, or it was both a long and tiring journey. That will be the correct structuring. Journey needs to come later, and the two adjectives which are describing the way that the journey was need to come before journey. Again, parallelism, right? You need to properly put the words together. These are all common examples. They are important. They are usually asked in your exams, so do pay attention. So the correct form will be, so what was tiring? The journey was tiring, the journey was long, and it was tiring. So it was both a long and tiring journey. It was both a long and tiring journey. That becomes the correct answer. So can you just see in these two examples that parallelism basically means that the sentence should be formed in the same order and it should make logical sense. There, very tiring was not something that was making the sentence clear, right? Please keep this in mind. At any point, if you have any doubts, the rule you know, you need to get back to us so that we can clarify your doubts, okay? All right, I enjoy swimming, running, and to jog. I enjoy swimming, running, and to jog, right? So I enjoy swimming, running, and jogging. It won't be to jog because again, the ing form is not consistent, It's not coming everywhere. So I enjoy swimming, running, and jogging. I enjoy swimming, running, and jogging. So I enjoy swimming, running, and jogging. So the ing form becomes consistent here, right? So we can easily see that the ing form in the rectified sentence, this is the correct sentence, is becoming consistent, right? The revamping of the office is neither simple nor not it will be cheap. Now please remember, whenever we use either or, neither nor, so it's either X or Y. It's neither X nor Y. So please remember, this is important. The revamping of the office, is neither simple not it will be cheap. Now see here, what will not be simple and what will not be cheap. So simple is one aspect, revamping, renovating, changing, so the revamping, the renovation process will not be X simple and Y cheap, so the revamping of the office, right, the revamping of the office will, right, the revamping of the office will neither be simple nor cheap, right? The revamping of the office is neither, or let's just not change the grammar, the revamping of the office is neither simple nor cheap, that's it. Not it will be cheap, there's no need, there's no requirement, okay? So it's neither simple nor cheap, right? So the correct formation becomes either X or Y. For this you need to ask, what is X, what is Y? Okay, so the revamping is not simple and cheap. So the revamping of the office is neither simple nor cheap. The revamping of the office is neither simple nor cheap. So these are some of the questions also that are coming in your assignment, okay? Any doubts, do let us know. When I was in London, I learned piano and how to play the guitar. Now, when I was in London, please remember you always learn to play an instrument. Okay, that's the correct English usage. You learn how to play an instrument. So, when I was in London, I learned how to play the piano and the guitar, or I learned how to play the piano and guitar. Both are equally correct. Okay, so when I was in London, I learned how to play a piano and a guitar. Okay, a piano and guitar, or piano and guitar. So you learn how to play instruments. When I was in London, I learned how to play the piano and the guitar. So the article consistency also we are remaining. So please remember, this is how it becomes. You play the instrument and you need to club those two instruments together. Okay, whereas the previous sentence was not doing that. Father supports my view because first, it's simplicity, and second, it is unique. Now, one thing that I want you to put in your head is that you will never ever use words like most and more with unique. Unique is already in its superlative form, okay? So we've got the positive form, the comparative form, and the superlative form. Now, whenever we talk about, right, unique is already in its superlative form. form. So you need to remember this, very important, right? So whenever we talk about father supports my view because first it is simple, and second it is unique. Right? So first it is simple and second it's unique. All right, so simplicity is incorrect because unique is in its proper form. So simplicity needs to be replaced with the word simple. Okay, so the plan is simple and unique. So father supports my view because first it's simple and second it is unique. So simplicity was wrong because unique was in its common form. Therefore, we had to put simple also in the correct form, right? Sorry, because unique was in its proper form. Therefore, we had to put simple also in its proper form. We were either asked to change our flight or to take a train. Now, please remember it is either X or Y. What is X? X is flight and Y is train. Okay. We were asked to either change our flight or take a train. We were asked either. Okay, so please remember asked needs to come before either. Why? Because of the fact that you need to have either or with X and Y. Asked to change our flight and or to take a train, these are not correct. To change our flight or to take a train, those are the two options. Okay, so we were asked either to change our flight or to take the train, right? We were asked to either change our flight or take a train. So either or is used for two options. Please remember this. This becomes important. This is a very common question that is usually asked in your exam. And if there are any doubts, you can always ask. Okay. We were asked to either change our flight or take a train. Neerja likes singing carols and to play the mandolin. Can you see that there is an ing form, right? So the second form should also be consistent. So Neerja likes singing carols and playing the mandolin. So to play the mandolin will be replaced by playing the mandolin, right? Okay, so do remember this is very important. Okay, do keep it in mind. Neerja likes singing carols and playing the mandolin. So law of consistency is not being followed. Law of consistency is parallelism. Neerja likes singing carols and playing the mandolin. Okay, now let's quickly look at some more common errors which are based on parallelism. So pay attention to these. These are also equally important from your examination point of view. John loves gardening, singing, and to dance. Can you see that gardening and singing is in ing form? So to dance also should be replaced with ing form. So John loves gardening, singing, and dancing. Right? So this was a faulty parallelism. So the correct one is part B that you see. John loves gardening, singing, and dancing. She is both a great writer and dances well. Now, can you see she's both a great writer? So, and after that we have and. So, whenever it's both X and Y should be having the same order. Can you see X is a great writer? So, Y should also be talented dancer. Y should also be talented or gifted or distinguished dancer, because here we need to have the same form. So she's both a great writer and a talented dancer. Because the form needs to be both X and Y. Okay, so she's both a great writer and a talented dancer. Both X and Y. So X and Y must be parallelly connected. Right? X and Y must be parallelly connected. That's extremely crucial and important. He is not for war but peace. Can you see not and but coming over here. So he's not for war, but for peace. So when we are talking about not and but for war, so peace should also have its preposition, that is for. He's not for war, but for peace. So peace is not having its preposition, right? There's faulty parallelism. There is faulty parallelism over here. So he's not for war, but for peace. He's not for war, but for peace. Not for X, but Y. So X and Y need to be the same. Not for X, but Y. And X and Y must be the same. Correct? So remember, these are important questions and they're very scoring. The hurricane not only destroyed the fishing fleet, but also the homes of the fishermen. Now again, not only X, but also Y. Not only X, but also Y. So the hurricane, what is the hurricane destroying? Fishing fleet and homes of fishermen. So the hurricane destroyed not only the fishing fleet, but also the homes of the fishermen. Not only the fishing fleet, but also the homes of the fishermen. Okay, so do remember, this becomes important. The hurricane destroyed not only the fishing fleet, but also the homes of the fishermen. Okay, so yahan par you need to remember, it's not only X but also Y. Not only X but also Y. The hurricane destroyed not only the fishing fleet, but also the homes of the fishermen. Okay, so the same way like we solved the neither nor question, the same thing is coming over here. It's not only X but Y. So what is X and Y? X is fishing fleet and homes of fishermen is the Y. Remember, this is important. Okay, please, if you have any doubts in this part, do ask, because you get these kind of questions. Either you must leave the house or pay the entire rent. Either you must leave the house or pay the entire rent. Okay, what you need to do, you either need to, so either leave the house or pay the rent. Okay, so you must either leave the house or pay the entire rent. So X is leave the house and Y is pay the entire rent. So you must either leave the house or pay the entire rent. So either X or Y. The question you need to ask yourself, what is X, what is Y, and then accordingly make a grammatically correct sentence, right? So you need to identify what is X, what is Y. That becomes important, okay? That's imperative, that's significant, that's pivotal. Please remember this, okay? And if there are any doubts in these kind of questions, do ask, because they need to be clarified as they are important. Neither you must grant his request nor incur his ill will. So what is neither X nor Y? X is grant his request and Y is incur his ill will. Incur is ill will, like he literally, you'll not get the best positive vibes then from him, or you'll not get positive actions from him. So you must neither grant his request nor incur his ill will. You must neither grant his request nor incur his ill will. You must neither grant his request nor incur his ill will. Neither X nor Y. Neither X nor Y. Neerja felt the movie was boring, silly, and was too long. Neerja felt the movie was boring, silly, and was too long. Okay, so here can you just see that she felt the movie was boring, silly, and was too long. Okay, so here you can see that the was is getting repeated. Was is getting repeated. So Neerja felt the movie was boring, silly, and too long. There's no need for the was before too long. There's no need for the was before too long. So Neerja felt the movie was boring, it was silly, and too long. So Neerja felt the movie was boring, silly, and too long. Was is already there. Was is already there for all the three describing words. Okay. The French, Italians, Indians, and the Portuguese. The French, Italians, Indians, and the Portuguese. Now, can you see there is an article discrepancy? There's a faulty parallelism when we talk about the articles, right? There's a faulty parallelism when we talk about the articles. The French, the Italians, the Indians, and the Portuguese. The correct answer will be the French, the Italians, the Indians, and the Portuguese. The article parallelism is missing. The article parallelism is missing. My opinion is different and contrary to yours. Now, contrary to yours. So, contrary is having its preposition, but what about different? My opinion is different from and contrary to yours. My opinion is different from and contrary to yours. So, different is not having its preposition. Different is not having its preposition in place. So, what will become the correct answer? My opinion is different from and contrary to yours. My opinion is different from and contrary to yours. Okay, do remember this, this becomes important. My income is lesser than my wife. Now, your income is smaller or lesser than your wife's. There'll be an apostrophe S because you're comparing, right? There'll be an apostrophe S, comparison. So there'll be an apostrophe S. I would rather spend my vacation in London than sitting all day at home. Now, can you just see, I would rather do X, right, than Y. So when I'm talking about X, X is spend my vacation in London than sit all day at home. There's no need for sitting because spend is there. X is spend. So Y must be sit. It shouldn't be an ing form. I would rather spend my vacation in London than sit all day at home. Than sit all day at home. That's sit all day at home. So I would rather do X than Y. So X is spend, Y should be sit, not sitting. Y should be sit and not sitting. Rather X than Y. Rather X than Y. So rather X than Y, not only but also, not only X but also Y, neither X nor Y, either X or Y. X and Y must be consistent. X and Y must be parallel. X and Y must be having the same form. That's very important. Please understand this. This becomes crucial. And if you've understood this, you've automatically mastered the topic of parallelism. Okay? If there are doubts, do let us know. This is important. Try to look at it correctly. Try to review this if you want twice, thrice, because this is important. And even if you have doubts, even after looking at it once or twice, then do get back to us and clarify these parallelism questions. Thank you so much.